Today on Southern Miss Sports Today with Coach Jay Hopson, the Golden Eagles entertain Southern University out of Baton Rouge at the Rock. And the Golden Eagles also get ready to hit the road and travel to Monroe, Louisiana to take on the Warhawks of Louisiana Monroe. All that coming up right now on Southern Miss Sports Today. Well, hi everybody. Welcome to Southern Miss Sports Today with Coach Jay Hopson, presented by Bancorp South. Golden Eagles home this past weekend at the Rock, taking on Southern University, and the Golden Eagles walk away with a 45-0 victory. Great atmosphere in the Rock on Saturday night. And Hop, what'd you take away from the ball game? Obviously, you got off to a good start. You made some things happen via the special teams early on. But as you look back on the game, what sort of stands out?
Well, I thought, again, anytime you make plays in the special teams, that's big, especially early in the season. So our punt return unit did a great job starting us out early. I thought we had a nice return, had a good return on the kickoff return game. So I thought we played well and improved on our special teams from week 1 to week 2. Defensively, we created some turnovers, had 1 turnover for a score, so that's another positive. And I thought offensively, we moved the ball well. I thought we had chances to stick a few more points in there, down on their side of the field, and had a turnover or 2, but I thought we played well, and just looking forward to, our journey is to get better each week, and we want to get better from week 2 to week 3. So that's the journey we're on this week.
Well, on that same topic, where did you see the team get better than maybe the week before?
Well, I thought special teams, I thought our execution in that phase was better. I thought, I thought we did some, again, I thought defensively, I think we've played pretty well. We still had some things we got to correct. Again, as a coach, you're probably never just completely happy because you see so many things you got to correct on both sides. But I thought our guys played hard. I thought we created turnovers defensively, so that's an improvement there. I thought offensively we had some big plays. I thought, T-Rod made some really nice plays. Alan Zay had some good grabs. Quadre had some nice throws. Key hit Jalen on a big one. So I was impressed, too, with our young guys. I thought our freshmen came in. You look at some of those guys that made plays, I was impressed. Quiz scored another touchdown. Jalen had a nice run. I thought up front, our offensive line, those guys, you look at that second group, it's almost all true freshmen in there, and I thought they really battled hard and played well.
Yeah, it's funny to say. I was going to say the one thing that really stood out to me was how many good young players we have on this football team, and you mix them in with the veterans. That's the potential for a really good football team.
I tell you, I like you, John. I was pleased to see that effort. We just got to continue to grow, and our journey, like we've talked about as a team, our mission is just get better every week.
And you mentioned the quarterbacks. Quadre Griggs got the start. We also saw Keon Howard in the ball game. Talk about those two guys a little bit and what you saw there.
Quadre had some nice throws in the first half. He really did. Just thought he directed the football team well. Came in and other than a mishap going inside the 10 where they kind of bumped into the running back, I thought we were executing at a good level. And I thought Key came in, again, a beautiful throw to Jalen in his first series and did some good things. So I thought they certainly improved from week 1 to week 2. Now we got to continue that journey to week 3.
Not necessarily a negative, but I know one thing you want to get better at is when you get down there close to the scoring zone, you want to get it in. And you had a couple opportunities you weren't able to get in.
Yeah, that's true. And those are the things we'll keep talking about, execution and precision, and that'll be a mission for us this week.
One stat that really popped up to me defensively, third down conversions by Southern. Didn't have a single third down conversion in the ball game, so it's a pretty good job by the defense.
Yeah, that was a nice job. I thought those guys, I thought we played good up front. I thought we were physical. We had a couple gap integrity issues where they popped a couple, but I thought for the most part we stayed above the cut on defense, made some good plays on the long ball, and I thought we executed pretty well.
A little bit later in the show, we're going to spend some time with one of your veteran cornerbacks, Curtis Mikell, who's done a lot of different things. Been a return man for the Golden Eagles, has been solid there in the secondary. A young man, one of those Bassfield guys who really has made contributions in his career.
Yeah, Curtis is a football player. There's just no way to disguise that. He's a competitor. He loves to compete. He loves to cover. He loves to hit. I mean, he's tough. He's from Bassfield, so he's tough and he's physical, but he's just got that instinct. He's just got that knack for playing football, and he's one of those guys that to me, is a tremendous football player.
His nickname is Speedy, and if they wonder why, all you do is watch him play.
Yeah,
He's as fast on that football field as anybody on this team.
Yeah, he can run. Curtis, speed is one thing Curtis does not lack, and I think his cover ability is exceptional, and I think he can lock down just anybody. He's one of those guys.
So coming up in just a second, we will sit down with Golden Eagle cornerback Curtis Mikell, later Athletic Director Jon Gilbert. Hop will be back with us at the end of the show. We'll take a look at what's coming up for the Golden Eagles. That's a trip to Monroe, Louisiana to take on the Warhawks of Louisiana Monroe. Back in a minute on Southern Miss Sports Today.
The reason I chose Southern Miss because it was a big family place. A couple of my family members came here. I had an uncle that played here, and when I just came and visited the place, everyone just took me in pretty good, and I just felt like I was at home when I came, and I just loved the atmosphere, and it was a little town close to where I stayed, and I just loved it. One thing I knew about the Golden Eagles was they were just a hard-working team, and they never gave up. And anywhere, anytime, I just put that in my head all the time, and I just said, I want to be on a team like that. They just know how to play football and wants to win and gonna work for it. Well, in high school, I played a little bit all the sports. I love baseball, but I just fell in love with football. I just really athletic. And I just knew I could play DB. When I got here, they wanted me to play receiver, but I wanted to transition to a DB, and it's worked out lovely for me. I'm starting corner now. I played a lot of baseball. I did travel baseball. I went to some camps out of state, Nebraska. I went to the College World Series for that. But football was just something I had a natural talent in, and I knew I probably could make it farther if I worked too, so it's working out for me. And it was just, all my brothers played, and I wanted to be around my brothers. It just felt good being around a group of men that love you and you love them too. To be a little guy, I do like to hit. I do like to hit. I'm very emotional about the game. I take it very serious, and I just love being out there competing. I'm gonna show a lot of enthusiasm. Come to work every day, trying to get better. I'm a Golden Eagle to the heart. Well, I'm studying sports management. I like to get in like the agent type, not sort of coaching. I'm not trying to do coaching, but if I have to, but I like to be like an agent, a player's agent. They do pretty decent job. So I want to be around the sport, but I'm not trying to be in it.
He takes the snap, backpedals the throw, fires up the field. That's over everybody's head. Tipped and intercepted by the Golden Eagles. Falling down out there playing center field for the Golden Eagles. They get the interception. I think that was Curtis Mikell back there.
Initially coming in, I was a third-team quarterback because you had David Sellers, who was actually the backup to Dane. All right. The misfortune for David was David got sick. Something happened to David, but David was out about a week and a half. So when David was out, then that propelled me to be number 2. And so, you know, of course, that encouraged me, and maybe you just want to work a little bit harder. Just tell you an interesting story. It's just about the transition from high school to college. It's that first game, Florida State. Number one, I've never seen a crowd that big before in my life. Number 2, I've never been in a situation where it was that loud. And number three, I've never seen guys that big before in my life. And not only that, it was some serious hitting going on between our defense and their defense, and that whole process of the game. You know, I was pretty much in awe. And you know, and I have to give Coach Collins them, you know, a lot of credit for whatever, but it was a good thing I didn't play early on, because I really wasn't ready for it, physically or mentally ready to be thrown in like that in that particular situation. So obviously they had a plan. They didn't let me know what it was, but you know, obviously they had a plan. But you know, just during the course of the season after that game, it just kind of set a precedent. Okay, this is what it's going to be like. This is how it is. And as the season wore on, you know, the communication started to get a little bit better between me, the coaches, Coach Collins. As the season went on, I started to get a little bit more reps because I started to become more familiar with the offense, what to do, what not to do, in reference to what we were doing. I couldn't necessarily say what was going on in defense because I never played against a college defense. And so as the year progressed, you know, that attention towards me got a little bit more and more every week. And then as we were playing, I got an opportunity to play late in the year, a couple of games. And like you said before, you know, I was holding on extra points and field goals. So that kind of got me on the field and getting acclimated to what was going on in the game, get you tuned into the game, staying focused on the game, because at any time, you know, when that time came, you had to be ready to go out. And, you know, with that being said, you know, it all worked its way up to the last game of the year when we were playing Arkansas State. You know, I can remember clearly I was getting more reps during the week, more than I've ever gotten. So I'm like saying to myself, yeah, I might get a chance to play this week, you know. So I kind of got myself ready, and then again, I didn't want to get too excited to be let down if I didn't play, you know. But I think it was after the first series, Coach Tim came in and said, "You going in next?" And I'm like, wow, this is the first time I've ever been in this early. And the game was still in hand. You know, you didn't know who was gonna win. So I was excited, nervous about getting out there. And then, you know, once I got out there, things just kind of took control of itself. You know, you just kind of reacted and just played football. Was it the best game I ever played? No, not by a long shot. Was a lot of mistakes I made? Of course there were. But the fact that I was out there playing and then kind of getting the feel of actually being in a game that mattered. Not when the game was, you know, you knew what was going to happen, you doing mop-up work and all this other stuff. You know, I'm playing in a game that mattered. And we were fortunate enough to win that game. And then from that point on, you know, I was on the field, and I was determined not to do anything for them to pull me off the field.
You know, what attracted me to the Southern Miss job really was the brand. I knew from, you know, my long history in intercollegiate athletics how Southern Miss was viewed nationally. You know, I'd been to a big Southern Miss game or two, the Florida State game in the late 80s. Obviously, from my experience at Alabama, I saw them up close a number of years. I can remember, you know, multiple coaches saying, you know, I think at the time there was a 10-year contract with Alabama, and a lot of the coaches said, get that team off of my schedule. And so really what attracted me was the brand, the national perception of who we are. That was a big factor in me coming to Hattiesburg. You know, probably the biggest surprise, you know, taking the job is the passionate fan base that we have. You know, we have a very passionate fan base, and there are a lot of schools our size that can have good seasons, but they can't attract or manufacture the fan base that we have. So, you know, I saw it up close with multiple teams this spring. You know, women's basketball making a postseason run. You know, our baseball team. You know, one of the first events I came to was a women's softball game against LSU, and I think we had the largest crowd in the history of our softball program. So the passionate fan base, I knew that it was good. I didn't know that it was this good, and so that really excites me. You know, I think when you take an athletic director's role, to me, you know, and I stated this multiple times early, I don't have all the answers, and it's not about me. And I really have carried that through the early part of my tenure. There are a lot of people that have far more experience with Southern Miss athletics than I do, and so I really wanted to get out and meet those people and hear their thoughts about our program, both historically and what they see for the future, and then forming that and moving a plan forward. So I didn't want to come in with a set agenda, because, you know, when you do that, oftentimes that agenda doesn't match the institution. So I really wanted to get a broad understanding of the institution at large, the athletic department, and who we were to move this program forward. Well, I knew that we were tough and competitive. I knew the anybody, anywhere, anytime. And I knew that that was a culture of who we are. So, you know, we play with a chip on our shoulder. We play the underdog role for a lot of games. And I think that grit is in the fabric of who we are as a department. I love the way our teams are competing. You know, we beat some really good teams that are a lot more resourced than we do across all of our sports. You know, that gives me a great sense of pride of who we are inside. I think that's a great attribute for this department.
Welcome to Southern Miss. We're ready to watch the Eagles beat up on Southern University today, get that first win.
That's right. Looking for Southern Miss to bring the four-man front, bring the heat, pressure the quarterback the entire game. Want to see some hard hits and some sacks out there, baby.
Go get them, nasty bunch.
Southern Miss
to the top.
Woo! I don't want to hear it.
I'm enjoying being back here on campus after graduating. First season as alumni, got these season tickets. Watching Southern Miss blow out this team. Great atmosphere here at USM, to the top.
Parts here live on the Southern Miss sideline. Well, it's your boy EG, you know what I'm saying? Both finna turn the camera to the real dude. We got 3 with the pick 6 over here, you know what I'm saying? Live and direct. Cornell Armstrong from the field. You feel me? Get the last name. It ain't gonna change.
Game was it meant? We know it wasn't perfect. We know there's a whole lot of room to grow and get better. But one thing we ain't never gonna do, we ain't gonna never look at gift horses. When we win a damn ball game, we're gonna celebrate big. Y'all understand me? So let's start clapping this thing up.
Well, the Golden Eagles turn their attention now to their first road game of the 2017 season. They'll travel down to Monroe, Louisiana on Saturday night, take on the Warhawks of Louisiana Monroe. Just the 5th time the Golden Eagles and Louisiana Monroe have ever met on the football field. And Jay, what do you know about this ball? I know that this ball club, I know last year maybe didn't have quite as much success as they wanted to under a brand new head coach, but they played a tough ball game at Memphis, got canceled this past weekend because of the hurricane, a game against Florida State. But it looks like, just what I've seen, a much better Louisiana
Monroe
team.
They're a good football team. I think they're talented. They have 2 dual threat quarterbacks that can throw it and can run it. Speed out wide, good size at the wide receiver position. The running backs run hard and physical, and they're big up front offensively, a massive offensive line. I think defensively, they're a group that gives you different looks. They're athletic, they can run. One thing I can say about them on both sides is they are extremely well-coached football team that gives you a lot to work on. So again, we know we've got a good football team. Like you mentioned, John, they played Memphis tough, and that was a hard-fought football game. I think they lost by 8 in that game. So and Memphis has a heck of a program right now. They're doing extremely well. So we know we've got a good football team.
Yeah, I think that game, that was the opener in some bad weather, I think, up in the Liberty Bowl Stadium. And they got behind, but to show kind of what this Louisiana Monroe team is all about, they battled back and had a chance late in the game to maybe win the thing.
They did. They outgained Memphis too. That's one thing you look at, but I think they outgained Memphis by about 20 or 30 yards. So statistically, Monroe kind of won that affair. I think they had more first downs, more yards. So we know we've got a good football team.
You talked on this a little bit, but what impressed you about them when you watched that game against Memphis?
Well, just like I said, they got some guys that can make plays. You know, again, I thought they made some big plays in their passing game. You know, they can run the football, and so they're again a multi-dimensional football team that gives you a lot, so we know we got to be prepared.
First road game of the year, a little different maybe routine. You travel on Friday and then you get there for the game and play on Saturday. A young ball club, is that a concern sometimes, that first road game?
No, you know, sometimes I kind of like the road, you know, because you know, everybody's there together. I don't think it matters, home, road. I think just, hey, that field's 100 yards, those white lines, you get between them, you got to be prepared and focused to play, and that's what football is all about. So you know, we know we got to go up there, and we're looking forward to the trip, and we know we've got an outstanding football team we got to be prepared for.
This last Saturday, another really good atmosphere at the Rock. Southern brought a great crowd and their band, the Pride of Mississippi, and boy, just a lot of things that make college football so much fun.
Yeah, it was a great Eagle Walk again. Again, I want to shout out to the Southern Miss fans. Thanks for that support. Our players, our coaches, we all appreciate that. I thought the atmosphere was outstanding, and just another great crowd at the Rock.
All right, Hop, congratulations on the win. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Coxie.
All right, the Golden Eagles on the road in Monroe, Louisiana to take on the Warhawks of Louisiana Monroe. That's a 6 o'clock ball game on Saturday night down at Malone Stadium on the campus of Louisiana Monroe. Don't forget Monday nights we're at Georgia Blue for the Golden Eagle Hotline with Coach Hopson. Come on out, visit with us, and talk a little Golden Eagle football. That'll do it. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next time with another inside look into Southern Miss football.
Been thinking about it since I was a kid.
Mom would be so proud.
If I could do it for a living.
Using my mom's recipes to open up a cupcake shop.
For my daughter to go to vet school.
Singing karaoke in all 50 states.
Captaining my own shrimp boat.
Tell us what you dream about. With the right loan or savings plan, we can make it a reality, no matter how crazy.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Keeping you within reach of what matters most. We're Bancorp South, and we're right where you are.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby, you got me falling hard for you. And still, I felt this way before, you know it's true. And still, you got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
Bocoma Casino invites you to come experience a Las Vegas-style atmosphere with small-town Southern charm just up the road in Sandersville, Mississippi. You could drive over 70 miles to the coast, but don't risk the road. Bocoma Casino boasts over 700 high-energy slots, plus your favorite table games like blackjack, craps, roulette, and poker. Our 27,000-square-foot casino offers so many ways to win. Come see us at Bocoma Casino. Real winning, real close to home. Sandersville, Mississippi. Play here, win here.
Hey Southern Miss fans, it's Toby Barker, Mayor of Hattiesburg. Mickey Spagnola once wrote, if you're going to war and you get to choose first, choose Southern Mississippi. Always choose Southern Mississippi. Don't fight Southern Mississippi, because no matter how hard you fight, those folks will fight harder. His words capture the character of our institution and our city. We here in Hattiesburg are writing a new story, one where we rise to our challenges with great excitement, one where we push our city to reach its potential, and most importantly, one where there's real partnership between the University of Southern Mississippi and the city of Hattiesburg. Southern Miss is vital to our city's success, from the quality of life it provides through athletics and the arts to the talent it cultivates in the classroom. We share a common destiny. Hattiesburg is proud to be Mississippi's college city, and we hope as we go forward you'll join us in supporting our Golden Eagles this season as they go to the top.